Hey guys, it's Stephanie from stephanieb.com. Welcome to my first video in my VBAC preparation vlog series. So if you're watching this video, you probably know what a VBAC is, but just in case, it is a vaginal birth after cesarean. So I had a C-section, emergency C-section with my son after 52 hours of labor, a story that I will tell you about later. So now that I'm 30 weeks pregnant with our little girl, I'm at the point that I've decided that I want to try for a VBAC instead of having another C-section. So there's a ton of reasons for either decision, but my two biggest reasons as to why I want to try for a VBAC this time are, number one, we want to have more kids after this, and number two, the recovery time. So let's talk about the first one. We want to have more kids after little girl. So let's take a look at this chart that I found. So the risks involved with having multiple C-sections increase with each successive C-section. However, the risks involved with a VBAC decrease after each VBAC. So if you look at this chart here, so my first C-section, which I already underwent, I had obviously all of these inherent risks. In the second C-section, the risk of a hysterectomy, having your uterus removed, or blood transfusion is actually down from the first C-section, but there's an increased risk of placenta accreta, which is where the placenta grows too deeply into the uterine wall. So normally, after birth, the placenta completely detaches, but if it grows too deeply into the uterine wall, then it can remain attached and cause severe bleeding and possibly a hysterectomy during delivery. The risk of dense adhesions is 1 in 5. So adhesions are when scar-like tissue forms and attaches internal organs to your uterus. So like your bladder would be attached to your uterus, or parts of your bowels attached to your uterus. Now, with the second C-section, the risks, honestly, to me, don't seem that bad, but we want to have more babies, like I said. So if you take a look at the third C-section, the risk of hysterectomy, blood transfusion, placenta accreta, all of these things are almost double that from the second. And when you get to the fourth C-section, they almost double again from the third C-section. That's scary stuff. Whereas with a VBAC, your chances of a successful VBAC increase each time you have a VBAC. The risk of uterine rupture is less than 1% for the first one. Your risk of hysterectomy is nearly half that of having a second C-section. That's crazy. The second VBAC, your risk of uterine rupture and hysterectomy are almost half of the first VBAC. And by your third VBAC, the risk of hysterectomy is way down, 0.06%, 1 in 1,667. That's awesome. So, obviously, wanting to have a VBAC this time around would set me up to be able to have VBACs in the future for future babies, to have healthier pregnancies, healthier deliveries, all around, lower risks. So the second reason I want to have a VBAC is so that I can get out of the hospital faster. I can take care of both of my children sooner, a faster recovery time. So for my C-section, I was in the hospital for 5 days, and the standard of care here in Bahrain for a vaginal delivery, you're in the hospital for 3 days, which those 2 extra days at home make a big difference with time being away from my son and my husband having to run back and forth between us. And we will have family out here helping, which is amazing and wonderful. But ultimately, it would be better for me to not be in the hospital as long. But also the recovery time afterwards. So C-section, I know they're pretty commonplace, and because of that, kind of get a nonchalant response. But it's a major abdominal surgery, and they're cutting into your abdomen, cutting into organs, and taking the baby out that way. That's huge. And even if I were to tear during a vaginal delivery, those stitches are going to heal up a whole lot faster than my body healing up from having a huge cut through all of the muscles of my abdomen and into my uterus. So that's the basic reason why I am trying for a VBAC this time. So I'm going to use this vlog to keep track of everything that I'm doing to prepare, to try and help educate other women about VBACs, because although they are gaining in popularity, there's still a lot of misunderstandings around them and old myths that have stuck around. So please comment and share, and I love answering questions. If this video has brought up any questions for you, please let me know. Thanks for checking it out, and you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and my new YouTube channel. Thanks.